Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds. It's just me today, but the cricket has been so good that we just have to record something. So you're just going to have to put up with me. But I'm sure Benji and James will be back very soon to get some more podcasts done. Now today, India versus Australia. India are fighting back very nicely indeed, and it's down to Shubman Gill. We said he needed to be in the team at the start of the series, and he's proven our point because that boy can play. He is so classy. There's reasons why people saying he's the next thing after Kohli, and then for him to play in innings like that was remarkable, and he looks so at ease. His ability to just time the ball so effortlessly is just, it makes me feel jealous because I want to time the ball that effortlessly. But yeah, he's a serious talent, and to get 128 shows that he's got the fight to do it against a good Australian bowling attack. The spinners have done well this series, and yet he's been able to absorb the pressure and put on a really assured innings. Virat Kohli as well obviously thinks that he doesn't want Shubman Gill to get all the limelight. He's on 59 not out, and we're all wanting him to get the century. We're willing him along to get that elusive test century, which he's not had since 2019. So come on, Kohli, don't let us down. We need you to score that century tomorrow to put India in a really commanding position. I mean, Australia haven't bowled too badly. Their field placing's been okay. I think it's just been a case of those Indian batsmen applying themselves. Could Australia have tried something a bit different? Potentially. They've only used the 5 bowlers. They've got a few part-timers in there. They've got Labuschagne and Smith. They can bowl a bit of leg spin, maybe just to upset them, the batsman a bit more. Travis Head's also got a bit of off spin in him. So there are options there, which they haven't used, but that's okay. I mean, like I said, the Australian spinners haven't done badly. It's just India have batted very well. And we've still got Shreyas Iyer to come, Axar Patel, Ravi Ashwin. Interesting to see how Stricker Barrett does. Maybe this is his chance to have a bit of redemption because he's not batted well this series, really. But there's opportunity there now for India to get close to Australia's score, maybe surpass Australia's score, and then really pile the pressure on going into that end of day 4 and start of day 5. Now, just a few things to wrap this section up, and that is that India are in an interesting position because of the pitch. The pitch is starting to do a little bit more for the spinners. We're starting to see it skid through a bit more. And that will encourage India spinners up. Players like Ashwin, Axar Patel, who loves the skidding on ball, Ravi Jadeja as well. That extra bit of skid might think to India, well, we only need to get relatively close to Australia's score, and then we can dismiss Australia quite cheaply because the pitch it's a lot better to bat on. There's a better contest between bat and ball. It's not all ball dominant. And so it's producing what could be a really exciting finish to this test match and test series as well, because it's not just the test series on the line, it's the World Test Championship final that's on the line. And in a way, it will be interesting if Australia wins because that will make it 2-2. And then if India and Australia face each other in the World Test Championship final, then, well, it's playing for a decider. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? And on a neutral venue. So it's the real test of who's the best of the best, because these two teams, they are, India and Australia, they are the best 2 test teams in the world over the last 2-3 years. So they deserve to be there. Coming on to thinking about Sri Lanka versus New Zealand, we had hopes for Sri Lanka. We wanted to see them potentially end up place in that World Test Championship final. However, it's not looking likely, especially given how well the New Zealand tail played. I mean, Matt Henry to score 72 off 75 balls. Sri Lanka didn't really bowl well at the tail at all. They had them 235 for 7. So for New Zealand to finish ahead of Sri Lanka by 18 runs, 373, not ideal for them. And the tail wagged thanks to Wagner. Look at that. Bit of puns for you. But yeah, it was wasn't great from Sri Lanka there. They seemed to lose the plot a little bit. And then Sri Lanka, they just didn't seem to apply the same pressure as they did in the first innings. It seems like they were playing a different way. In the first innings, we saw Sri Lanka teeing off, well, not teeing off, but playing that positive cricket. Their batsmen were going at over strike rates of over 50. We saw Kushal Mendis even apply that straight over 100. Whereas it just seemed like they were playing a different game, and it cost them really, going at just over 2 and over. They didn't look like they were applying any pressure to the New Zealand bowlers. And Blair Tickner, he impressed me in the England-New Zealand series. And it's great to see him back in the side because he's looking like a really good one for the future for New Zealand. A lot of their top-class pace bowlers are getting a bit old. We've got Wagner, Southey, Bolt, who I know is not playing. But yeah, the top New Zealand bowlers are getting on, and they need to find replacements. And Blair Tickner, for me, he looks like the suitable replacement for them at this point in time. So yeah, good positives for New Zealand. Yeah, Sri Lanka, it's a shame, but I think it's going to be Australia, India in the World Test Championship final, which will be very interesting. Now, today we have a women's Premier League match coming up. It's the Gujarat Giants versus the Delhi Capitals. Now, this is going to provide interesting things for the table, because if the Gujarat Titans win, that puts 3 teams on 4 points, which is going to really make it hard to see who's going to get in the final. And we want that. We want Gujarat Giants to win to make it really interesting to see who can get into the final. If Delhi Capitals win, then it's looking like Delhi, Mumbai, they're the teams to beat. But we saw Gujarat Giants show promise against the RCB. They're starting to find their balance. So let's see what happens. But anyway, that's the cricket that's going on. There's lots of cricket going on. It's a great time of year to be a cricket fan with all this cricket going on. But one of the things that we always like is answering Cricket Nerds questions. And we do have a Cricket Nerds question. So I found the Cricket Nerd question, and it's from Cricklover2205, who says, do you think the pressure of the prize tag is getting to some of these big name players like Mandana? I mean, Haley wasn't even a first choice for Mumbai, got past her first round of the auction, but has clearly surpassed her price. I think that's a great question, because you see RCB as the prime example. They have these big ticket names not living up to it. We've seen it in the past lots in the IPL. Think about how much money Chris Morris went for. Didn't do very well. You think in the early days when Andrew Flintoff and Kevin Peterson were getting the big money and didn't do very well. So it is a thing that it puts pressure, because you've been bought for all this money. There's a lot of hope on you from the franchise to deliver. And if you don't, then yeah, it's gonna definitely add that pressure, and it's going to keep building. Whereas, like you said, someone like Hayley Matthews wasn't a first choice pick, but then has ended up being a brilliant buy for Mumbai. Her all-round capabilities are awesome. So yeah. So thank you very much for that question. If you want to feature in one of our podcasts, then make sure you leave those Cricket Nerds questions down below with the hashtag CNQ. Also, thanks for all the support on our videos. Make sure you continue to like, continue to subscribe, tell your friends about us, share us on social media. You can also follow us on social media. We are at Cricket Nerds Pods. The links are all in the link tree, so you shouldn't go wrong there. And make sure that you're sticking around, because there's so much more cricket content, and we can't wait to see you in our reactions to tomorrow's play of the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.